Guys, welcome back to the Lake Norman Business Podcast. This is season 3. My name is Danny Decker. I'm joined by Ryan Weber as always. And today I'm super excited to have a good friend of mine, a fixture in the Lake Norman business community, Dale Gillmore, on the podcast. So welcome, Dale.
Thanks, guys. I'm glad to be here.
So Dale, for the few people out there that don't know you and what you're about, what do you do?
We were talking about this just before we jumped on the call or on the podcast here. I don't mean to call it a call. I'm on conference calls all the time. Sorry about that.
I hope you just make up something like completely off the wall of what you don't do. Like, hey, I sell sofas and stuff like that.
I'm not as cool as that. I mean, I'm kind of boring, but I would say that we were talking about our purpose before the call or before the podcast, and our job at Quest is our business and is to help business owners and think through the end of their life and all the transitions necessary to achieve their legacy or their quest, which is how we name the firm. But that includes business succession planning and exit planning and family planning and estate planning, and income tax is in my back pocket as a former tax guy.
So you'd be a financial planner theoretically, is kind of the outside worlds look at it?
No, I don't think so. I mean, some people, and we help sell the business too. Mm-hmm. And so, we do a little bit of everything. We help people get ready to sell the business. We help people get ready to think about every single option they could ever pursue in the exit of their business. So it's really just helping people through their journey, which is, you start out by exploring what might be or what might be possible, and then we move into a place of growth, which could be personal growth. It could be I got to grow my business to sell it for what I want. It could be, I've got to change my business for whatever reason, or I've got to decide whether or not my kid can run the business, and all of the things that are the business owner will explore based upon their facts and circumstances, and then that's on the growth side, and then eventually they're going to sell it or change it, or their work life changes and their role changes within the company, and perhaps they sell part of the company or all the company, or during the growth stage they need to buy companies to get where they're going, and we'll work to facilitate those transactions. And if we'll look at all options though. If they want to sell to employees or look at a management buyout, they want to look at an ESOP, we'll take them through that. I've got a customer that's going through that process right now, and we'll go through all the pros and cons of every single path that's available to them, and make sure that they're aware of those paths and how liquid the marketplace really is for their business, because that's often a place where people don't realize that there is plenty of liquidity out there.
Sure.
And then ultimately we move into the legacy spot, which potentially is even more fun, because then it's really what operational businesses might they invest in, or and they don't need the money. They don't need to sell the business to hit their financial goals personally. And we're thinking through their estate and family legacies and really generating some awesome wealth. So I wouldn't call myself a financial planner. It was a long answer to say no, I'm not a financial planner. But oftentimes we become part of the financial plan when business owners aren't liquid. Because a lot of times they don't have a true financial planner because they haven't hit $1 million of investable assets or whatever it is. It's kind of holding them back from really working with a good financial planner. And we don't replace financial planners or CPAs or attorneys. We're just consultants focused on the business owners.
The right people to get them in touch with.
That's right.
So Dale, what types of businesses do you guys work with? Is there a certain size or a certain age of the business? Like, who do you guys work with?
Yeah, typically we focus on, if you think of like a value, I guess, we focus on sort of $1 million to $5 million of what's called EBITDA or cash flow. And that's, that might be, that could be it could be a $6-7 million revenue company up to, $100 million revenue company as a size. We'll work with smaller than that if they're entrepreneurial and up to something.
I like that. If you're up to something. I'll probably take you on.
Well, it's just hard. It's hard to smaller businesses are hard. I've got a friend that we're helping out with their business. It's a little tiny business, and we're just helping them out as a favor. And that business is there's a lot of tire kickers, and it's just a completely different set of facts and circumstances, and the buyers are very different.
But they're up to something.
Yeah.
So you said yeah.
That's a friends and family. Sometimes I do some friends and family stuff.
Oh, okay.
So that one's one of those that's just being a good friend.
Yeah.
So Dale, one thing I have always been impressed with since the first time I met you, honestly, was the extent to which you tie kind of your personal purpose into your business and kind of the other things you have going on. So talk a little bit about that. You told us about Quest, but you've got a really cool foundation that you've started. Tell us about that.
Yeah. So, Quest is what, pays the bills and feeds the soul to help business owners achieve what they're up to. And so we get a lot of gratification about helping someone climb their mountain, and achieving their goals. But the other side of it, kids and things that are in the way of opportunity for kids. I've always had a passion around finding, and helping others kind of, with a hand up. And I grew up in Flint, Michigan, and Flint's, kind of a pretty underprivileged area. And they're going through some positive changes though currently, but, I always felt like when I got to a place in my life where, I kind of outkicked my coverage, which I got a wonderful wife.
I was going to say, I did that with my wife. So
that's right. I got a wonderful wife. I've got 3 little kids and 3 daughters, and, I got the white picket fence, so to speak, house. I don't really have a white picket fence, but my goals weren't set super high when I was young, and I achieved them super early. And I had to figure out, like, where do I go from here? I'm a professional making money, but there's got to be more to life than this. And that's kind of how we evolved Quest eventually. And it's also with the Make an Impact Foundation. I've got to think through how I can help other kids. And so the Make an Impact Foundation basically is a platform that serves kids. We work with other businesses that want to create their own projects around kids. We serve projects for kids. We've got a niche in playgrounds, and
well, tell us about that, because you guys have done a lot. How you've built playgrounds in Flint, right?
Yeah. So that was the start of it. We have a relationship with Playworld and Playworld Preferred, but our brand is Miracle. So we have a relationship with one of the brands that Playworld owns, and that happened with a personal relationship I had, and there was an opportunity to go build a playground in Flint, and it turned into 13 playgrounds. So, and that's really.
And one down in Florida.
Yep, and one down in Florida. We got 3 more that we're working on down in Florida currently, and that's in Riviera Beach. And then here locally, we're really working hard to find our donor champion up at Stumpy Creek in Mooresville, which is right down the road from where we're at, actually.
Yeah.
So we're still waiting on our donor champion there. We got a lot of people interested in helping, so we have plenty of, base hits laying around. We kind of need our home run hitter for that one. But then Huntington Green down in Huntersville.
Yep.
That's we're moving on a project there. Still looking for more donors to finish out a few things. We got basketball courts and soccer fields. We're also helping them with there. But we've got some fantastic momentum there, and we do have our, call it donor champion, if you will, on that project. So that project's for sure getting done and moving ahead. We just need to get the same kind of donor champion up at Stumpy Creek.
We got some people around here.
Yeah, still.
Let me put out the smoke signal and see what we can get for you.
Yeah, that'd be great. And the playgrounds.
So why don't you tell me this? Because I do know a lot of people that are interested in being a donor and want to help the community, especially the one they're in. What would a donor champion? What would you need from them?
Yeah, gotcha. it depends on what they're looking for and what their purpose around the donation might be, right? So what I need from them is to see what the community needs through our eyes. And there's a group here locally, the Brody Thompson Foundation, which is our partner on that project. And that's the mantra now is all kids need to learn to swim, right? And Brody had a tragic accident and passed away at a young age, and Jay Thompson and their family and that organization been trying to celebrate Brody, and they have been doing all kinds of great small things in the community. And this project was just established really through what was their cause, and so that ideally we build that for Brody. But the other thing that's coming out of that is we're folks that really could see through that tragedy of what opportunities and what things are important. Every child learning to swim is a nice thing to aspire to achieve, right? So that potentially ties back into the playground. The playground's going to be in Brody's memory, but it's also going to be an opportunity in the community to play at Stumpy Creek, and for the other kids that are playing baseball or soccer over at the fields. And a lot of people don't realize is there are some underprivilege in that area. I mean, we have these beautiful homes in Lake Norman, and so you kind of in this yellow brick road that a lot of people live on. But if you look around, I can't remember what school. I remember forgetting the name of the school, but there's a school that's like nearly 50% free and reduced lunch. It might not be Title I, which is like I want to say 80 to 90% free and reduced lunch, but there's still significant amount of poverty.
Really high. We actually built a habitat house in downtown Mooresville. So 13 weeks last summer, we went out. The law firm upstairs here built habitat house, sponsored a house, built it right in downtown, and it kind of opened my eyes because you see Mooresville and it's like, oh yeah, it's just the lake, and no, it is not. There's some severe need for stuff like this.
Yeah, so that playground we have an opportunity to provide a name of the playground. Our sponsor could sponsor the playground and take ownership of the naming rights of the playground. They could take the naming rights are available for the complexes, and that's relatively new over the last few months that we've been able to kind of say that.
That's
now.
cool.
So that's really great. And so ideally, we get somebody that's a home run hitter that really wants to help us finish that project. And that might that might be a $50,000 check. Like if you said, what would it, and that might be enough to really get the community behind it and finish the project.
So Dale, something I think that you guys do, which is really cool, is the way you've directly integrated Quest, which is how you pay the bills, with Make an Impact Foundation. And I feel like, if I remember correctly, some of your team at Quest actually donates their time to Make an Impact Foundation. Just talk a little bit about the relationship between Quest and Make an Impact.
Yeah, so we have something called My Corporate Impact at Make an Impact, which allows corporations to develop their own projects and get their employees involved to serve those projects. So at Quest, we have done the same thing for Quest. And at 10% of our top line revenue at Quest goes to the charity.
Wow.
And that's a significant...
That's huge.
That's a significant sacrifice that our employees are making, and they also volunteer their time for the foundation in lots of ways. But those opportunities are created. It creates opportunities for our employees to sort of find their own personal passions within kids and families, right? And not everybody's the same. Dave on our team has this thing that he wants. There's not enough pilots in the world. There's a shortage on pilots, and Dave's a pilot. So he's got this drones to jets kind of program that he wants to build and create that allows kids a pathway to learn how to be a pilot, which is really, really cool as an example.
Very good job that they could have. So you're helping them out.
Yeah, very good job that they could have. And, Tina's on our team has at the foundation, she's got a list of like 14 or 15 like pathways to opportunity. And, to me, it's like those are the 15 pathways that you just could talk to a kid at age 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way through high school and say, you guys do have opportunity, because oftentimes the kids don't have the right mentors or people around them, and so therefore they don't see the opportunities that they have in life. So, it's another thing that one of our teammates has decided, hey, well, can't we just have somebody just always be preaching these opportunities to these kids, which are really pathways, whether that's being a technician or, being a, working at a church or going to college and finding a true path to college, or going to the Army or going to the military. And these pathways to me are, it's like the gateway to where you're going to go in life, and they're all positive pathways. And so, you hear a lot of people that grow up in tough places and have a hard time figuring out how to get out of that. They just need, mentorship and people that will reach out to them. But there really are 15 or so. Tina's got it on a sheet somewhere if you guys want to see it. And so all the team kind of really is embracing what makes sense for them, and allows the flexibility to serve. It was a giant platform, so the mission is, pretty much anything kids and projects.
Yeah.
And the accumulation of funds is driven by either payroll deductions for the employees. It's basically a free employee benefit for a company to offer their employees, and it's a nice platform if they don't know what they want to do. If they they can still use that money to write a check to great organizations like, Ada Jenkins or the Soup Kitchen or whatever. So that if that's what they choose to do with that, but they could also do other things. And what people don't realize is, if you do like $1 a paycheck and you got 40 or 50 employees that get paid every week, and the company maybe does a little match or something, you get up to like pretty decent sized numbers, 10 grand pretty quick.
I love it.
And 10 grand can go really a long way. And, these organizations and the kids, they need access to capital too.
Yeah.
It's not just time and mentorship, which that part is important. That shows where the love's at. But the money allows us to fund projects for things that the kids really need. And we've done upward mobility projects. We've sent some kids that to Washington D.C. to tour businesses and meet with their government representatives, and then come back home. And then we took them to some of our entrepreneurs' businesses so they can experience that. And that was it was like 4 or 5 years ago, and 3 of those kids have graduated high school now, and they've sent us stories of kept in touch with our organization, or ambassadors of our organization. And it's to me, that's the kind of stuff that may not be able to get to 100,000 kids. We might not be able to. We can try. But when you hear the story of the 1 or 2 or 3 that, you made a difference in their life and they're on to something good, it's like, I'm not saying we did it, they did it, but, it's fun to be part of that. And I think to have purpose in life, that's where you find your happiness. And anybody and you can find that working. Like it isn't just going to, and you can find it at the beach and, hanging out and going on fun trips too. But if you're going to get out of bed every day, make sure it's something that you like to do. And if it's something that you could like to do, if you extended that purpose through that skill or trade that you might have, then maybe that's the Make an Impact Foundation is a place for you to consider being. Deborah McKee on my team is an awesome teammate, and her and Tina Mushkit are both working hard every day. And I'm kind of jealous of their jobs, frankly, because I've got to get to myself to independent wealth, just like these other business owners, so that I can maybe live every day in the foundation.
Yeah.
But they're working their butts off, and they're not paid that well. Don't cry, steal my employees, but they're not paid that well because it's just hard. I mean, it's charities.
Yeah.
That's a choice. They've made a choice in their life to work in this arena. So we're definitely try to, give them some extras whenever we can. But here are people that there's people in the world that are willing to work for less to find their purpose.
So Dale, how can people learn more about both Quest and Make an Impact Foundation?
So I guess this is the website talk here.
Sure.
So www.questnow.net, I think, or .com, I can't remember. And then the Make an Impact Foundation is www.makeanimpactnow.org.
That sounds right. I will when we share the show, we'll include the links to the website so everyone will find it directly.
We'll make sure we find it for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously there's some of us have certain skills and some of us
remembering website addresses is not one of yours.
It's not one of mine. No. But swing by the office too. We're above Flatiron Grill in downtown Davidson.
Gorgeous location. I love your office.
Suite 303, which I should remember that too. Don't try to mail us anything there because we have a P.O. Box 1959 if you want to send us some mail, because a lot of people try to mail it to our address, and we don't have boxes there. Davidson's an interesting town. You can ask them why, the local government, why we don't, and I don't quite understand it, but whatever. Lots of ways to reach us and come see us, and pay attention to these playgrounds, and you go to our if you want to donate, go to the website. We got all kinds of projects on the website that we're working on, and there really are a lot of unsung heroes in the community that people don't know, and those are the people that are probably like our project champions. So what if you think of it? I got to have a donor champion. I've got to have a project champion. Project champion is the person that's really driving the need or the reason for the project. The donor champion is probably someone that has the ability to write the check, and that person that's writing the check can be the project champion. They can be involved they can direct the traffic. They can pull out a shovel and help us shovel mulch when we're building playgrounds. So the opportunities are endless if you let your imagination decide how you want to serve kids.
Love it. Well, Dale, thanks for everything you do in the community, and thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. This was great.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Yep.